Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas. My hair looks all so weird. I was wearing a beanie a minute ago. I just did a video. And we have static really bad. Like the cats, do you see this? The cats all have it. Like my hair won't sit right. It's like everywhere. It's just ridiculous. And I feel awful for the cats. I swear there's hair there. I don't know. It looks like I'm bald. Maybe a little, I don't know. Whatever. I can't even make it sit, and it's like... Anyway, hi everyone. Merry Christmas. I hope you're doing well. I was just inspired after I got home from dinner, and I wanted to come on here and give you an update. It's been a minute since I've done an update on my health, and so I wanted to come on here and talk about it. So here's my update. I'm doing really well. I must be getting tired because my brain's like a little mushy. Anyway, I don't think I have retrolisthesis anymore. I think so I know I talked about this before, that I had a 3 millimeter shift in my vertebrae, and that's what retrolisthesis is. But I don't know how bad that is, because it really does vary per person. And I say that because the size of our bones, of our discs, can all be different. So 3 millimeters might be a lot if it was a baby even, and not a lot for a larger boned person. And so I don't know, you would think 3 millimeters is not a lot, but I'm telling you, it was a lot. It hurt like a motherfucker. It was awful. And I still was talking about it briefly at dinner with Jason's sister, and I almost broke down in tears thinking about how I was treated and how awful the pain was. I can't explain how awful it was. I cannot begin to explain it. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, honestly. Or maybe I would. No, I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. It was awful. I might wish the pain on somebody, maybe. I'm just kidding. I'm not like that. I'm just saying, technically, I wouldn't wish the treatment on anybody, because the treatment I got was awful. It was absolutely awful. I didn't get any help, and I felt very alone, and I feel like that was more traumatic than the pain itself. So yeah, we're not going to get into that again here. I just want to jump on here and say, if I still have retrolisthesis, it's probably not a lot. What did I do? I did exercises by moving when I was on the ground, mostly hip ups, stuff like that. I've told y'all before that there are a couple of chiropractors that I've found here on YouTube that would show you some ways of doing exercises to help that. Like you can use a ball, but they mostly talked about this I always call it spondylosis, whatever. It's the opposite. So my herniation was out beyond my spine. So not really, it's a herniation of a vertebrae, shift in a vertebrae. The spondylosis is inward or something. Whatever, they're the opposite. I can't remember now. I'm trying to think about it. But I didn't do anything fancy. I did all that. I didn't sit in my older recliner. I think I talked about that briefly the last time, because I feel like that only worsened the curve in my lower back, because your bone structure is supposed to go in and then out a little bit more. And I think it curved it too much, which is why the curve was like this. So it pushed. I was doing this earlier. So let's say this is my back. Okay. That curve, I feel like when I curved my body like this, it pushed the vertebrae this way outwards, because my discs were also pushing that way. So in between the vertebrae. So the discs were already pushing out, which is, if you're looking at it like this, Like the disc is pushing out, which is, you would, duh, that one's going to go with it. I'm visual and I can't show you. I think you get the idea. If you don't, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Basically 2 discs, if they're herniated and sticking out beyond, and I'm bending my back. So as you bend the spine, right? So your spine's supposed to do, let's say, this, and then it curves right here. But if these two, let's say, see where the lines are? This is poking out, and this one's poking out. It's prone, if you're curving your back more, that probably that vertebrae is going to move out too. Does that make sense? So I was curving and basically pushing it outward. So that's what I was doing. I believe it was from sitting in my older recliner a lot, because I was doing a lot of work for my business. I was sitting in that recliner all day almost. And I'd get up and I'd sit in another chair that went the way I sat. It didn't, like, my butt didn't go to the back of the chair. I was just being lazy. And like that recliner leans back naturally. And so it was just bending I wasn't sitting up straight. So I know that was on me. And that's why I believe laying flat on things. I still lay flat in our back room, which used to be where I had all these crystals. But I still lay flat on one of the benches in there every once in a while. I still do it in the living room. I believe it was last week, there was one day I had to lay on the floor flat with a heating pad. It was really bad. There are some days that I don't. Let me back up and finish telling you about the other thing. So yeah, I think that was really what was going on with my body then. I was fucking it up and I wasn't very active. Because a lot of the work, a lot of small business, if you have a small business or you work from home, a lot of it's sitting. You're sitting a lot. And a lot of it is social media. And if you're not present and active in there, then you can lose followers pretty quick. And so it's a lot of work and it's a pain in the ass, honestly. But I would still do it for the lovely folks that I have met. What I will say is, at that time, I was getting little payoff for the work I was putting in. So I would work harder, which really didn't make any sense. So, as of right now, I find that the more active that I am, like if I'm outside with the cats or I'm taking care of them or I'm moving things around, we moved all of the crystals out here in the garage. I'm in the garage, so you hear that in the background. That is the heater, the propane heater, heating it up out here because it's been freaking cold. So all the shelves with my crystals are here. Okay, this is where I'm going to be doing these videos. Yeah, so this is the first time doing it like this. And so while I was doing that, I was hurting more often. If I don't take the medicine, if I don't take my gabapentin, I only take 300 milligrams. If I don't take that, I could take it out like 6 or 7 hours. Every 6 or 7 hours. I did get to a point where I was like that for a couple weeks. And that was great. Don't get me wrong. But as I got more active, we were moving these things. I was cleaning cat ears because they have ear mites. Because I take care of 30 cats. Things like that. And then we even got a new storage unit. We had to move things into storage. There was a lot of things going on that caused me to have to be on top of things. Pushing 6 or 7 hours out, I couldn't do it. And some days I'd forget because I was busy, and I would be in excruciating pain again, almost to dropping to the floor again, almost. There are a couple times I just was not doing well, and even the center of my back, like where my bra strap is, that along my spine, was a very dull pain. And I've had it before, and I thought maybe I pulled a muscle around that area, because I've done that before and it was hard to breathe. It almost felt like I was having a heart attack. And the same thing was kind of happening. And then I'd feel something in my heart area. It was really hurting. And so it's been so long since I've been out of shape. I don't know what was going on. I didn't think I was having a freaking heart attack. But then I did. I thought so. So I never found out truly what was going on. I think I picked something up that didn't feel heavy to me, and I pulled a muscle. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of, because I was dealing with it for about 2 weeks, and it was a dull pain, and it felt like acid reflux, possibly, or maybe acid or something, because I don't really technically know what that is. And even acid reducers weren't helping. So I tried everything and it wasn't working. Ibuprofen wasn't working. And then I went back to a muscle relaxer, a tizanidine, and it helped. So I think it was a muscle that pulled. I didn't know I pulled a muscle. I don't remember being like, ugh, nothing like that. The joys of being out of shape. Yeah, so I need to strengthen my spine. I have spent the last decade focusing on strengthening my spine, and it's been a long time. So it's a whole new experience for me. So yeah. And again, like I said, if I didn't take my medicine on time, the pain that I felt during the time I was stuck on the floor was really bad. It was very similar. And you can't imagine maybe you could imagine, I don't know, the anxiety and the fear behind that feeling when you're in that much pain. One, it's beginning again, it's starting again, and you're worrying that you might be going to that same place, and you take your medicine and it does not help. That's really scary. It's really scary. And so I had to be patient, because, you know, when you take your medicine, it can take up to an hour for it to really affect you, in the right way, at least. So yeah, I had to up it back to every 4 to 5 hours. And right now, it's twice a day. And this last 2 weeks, I've had to take it 3 times a day. 3 times a day, 300 milligrams. And yes, I finally, after like the 5th time seeing my new doctor, he's finally, he's allowing me to take 3 a day. So now my prescriptions are going to be 3 a day. As if it's a controlled substance, but whatever. I digress. I am happy that that helps. And so when I went in and talked to him this time, I explained what was happening with me. Again, I'm pretty sure from being more active. And so I know now that I'm going to be starting my workouts again tomorrow. I've really been too scared and too busy and too stressed out to start them before like I wanted to. But I am going to start them tomorrow, because I don't want this to be a New Year's thing. I want it to be a right now thing. So tomorrow will be my first day doing something. I tend to overdo things, but I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to start slow, because I know that I have to be careful. I've been kind of testing myself with like hip thrusters, laying flat on the floor with your legs up. You're like this, right? Your legs are up. Just your knees up, whatever. That's what I'm trying to say. And then you lift your hips up and push them up to flatten. And so I think people would call it bridge. And then there's wheel, but not wheel, bridge. So I have been testing that, and I've learned that I cannot hold that very long. The longer I hold it, it pinches the nerve, and then it causes like a Charlie horse / muscle spasm. So it's going to be really interesting starting my fitness journey again. I feel like I'm going to cry a lot, because I'm way out of shape. But 'tis the process. And so since I started that on here, talking about it, and y'all have seemed to be very interested, I am going to keep it on this channel, because ultimately, fitness is something I really do talk about. Meditation, yoga, things like that. I talk about that for your well-being and for your health. It is part of that journey. And I believe that y'all need to understand that I also have the medical issues that I deal with on top of everything else. And I am choosing to do the best that I can without medicine, but I do take medicine, okay? Without pushing, I take the least amount of medicine I need to take, because I would rather do it a natural way, and I haven't been able to not go without it. The gabapentin makes my nerves, it numbs my nerves in that leg, and I can't handle it without it. The pain is maybe 3/4 of intensity as it was in August. And that's what I was dealing with the last 2 weeks, off and on. So I would be okay during the day as I'm moving around and doing certain things. And then other times I'm not. What I will also tell you is I still can't lift my hands over my head for very long periods of time. Or I'm in excruciating pain. I don't know if this is anything with y'all. I don't know if y'all have ever done squats where they ask you to lift your hand. I can do it now, I'm not standing, but you're supposed to lift your hands straight in front of you, right? Like this, and you're doing a squat. Squat with your hands in the air. That has always been very difficult for me, just in general. Just feels weird. It's always been very difficult for me in general. I can't even stand up straight to do it. This. All it does is put pressure on that nerve in the back. So this is going to be very interesting to try to do it, because the workout that I'm wanting to do is going to work a lot of my lower body, which is what I need to do. That's where most of your muscle is. And I need to work that muscle and strengthen my lower body and my core to support that, to support my spine. But this is going to be really interesting because there are weights in it. And I can choose to do lighter, which I will work my way up. There are bands and weights. And I don't even know if I could lift just doing this above just doing this. So you are going above your head. I don't know if I can do that while I'm standing up straight, because I can't reach way up. I can wash my hair, but I can't. But it hurts a lot. The only time, a whole point of telling you why this was always uncomfortable, the only time that I can lift my hands over my head and it not hurt is when I'm squatting. And it's not weird this time. It's weird. I mean, it's weird that I can do that. So yeah, last week I would find myself, the only way that I could be without pain in that leg is if I was basically half squat. Have you ever seen an old man, people joke around, they kind of half squat while they're like holding the cane. I'm so old. That's how I'm walking around last week, some days. It was the only way to make my legs stop hurting, on top of taking my medicine that didn't feel like it was doing something. I knew it was doing something though. But yeah, that bad. So I know if I have to do a squat to unpinch a nerve that goes down my leg, that to me is telling me there's still retrolisthesis in my head. The way looking at the like the diagram of the spine and how retrolisthesis comes out, it is definitely no, it doesn't come out away from the spine. It goes inward. It's crushing something. That's all I know. I don't know how. I want to figure out how, but I just, I think it's still part of that. So I don't know if taking the gabapentin is really helping in the long run, because I really don't know what's really going on. I need to get an MRI. So I did not mean to talk about 20 minutes of this, but it's shorter than last time. So I will wrap this up and say, the great thing is my doctor did say that he was going to send over a recommendation for a neurosurgeon, and I have one that I had previously called that I would like to see. And I called them, and they won't schedule an appointment with you unless you've had an MRI within the last 6 months. And I haven't. And so my doctor was like, I'll just let them, I'll send the recommendation over to them, and then y'all can deal with it. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I can't see him unless I've gotten an MRI, which now I'm struggling financially. And so I don't have the money to pay for the MRI, but he wouldn't send over a referral for it anyway. I don't know what the problem with that is, but I did tell him. Hopefully he does it this time. I don't know. I can't remember what we decided, but I did tell him that I needed to have an MRI before I went. And it is possible that they send over the referral and they tell them that I need the MRI. It's probably going to happen that way. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I can finally get this shit taken care of. At least know what's going on in my body now, a new update of it, so that I can take care of it accordingly, if that makes sense. So yeah, I had movement, move forward, whatever. I had good, my brain. So it's good news is what I'm trying to say. So it is good news. I did get So yeah, I did get good news the last time I went to the doctor, and I have had movement in that area at least. That's a good thing. I would say the last 2 weeks have been kind of challenging, but I made it through, and I haven't had any pain in maybe 4 days, 4 or 5 days, maybe. So it's getting better. Even though it got a little worse, but I was a lot more active. I mean, I was not a lot active, but I was moving things, moving heavier things, doing stuff like that. And so I'm not opposed to doing that. You have to kind of push your body a little bit to help it to improve. And there's going to be hiccups. There are going to be obstacles and struggles on the way there, but I know it will get better because that's just how it works. I'm going to have bad days. I'm going to have good days. But I will keep y'all updated on this process. And so hopefully in the new year, I can get a new MRI and stuff like that. I do have new insurance, so we'll see how that goes. It does say that it is mostly covered. So hopefully we'll see. But yeah, so I plan on sharing my journey of starting my fitness stuff tomorrow. I'm probably going to briefly talk about it and put it in a series here. I will talk about asanas or postures, things that have helped. If you want to know about movement, natural ways or modifications in fitness workouts or whatever it is, we can talk about that as well. That's something that I've worked with some of my clients that have overcome addiction from pain pills and learned how to manage pain without narcotics, the narcotic version of it, and also improve their body, because a lot of it's lose some weight. Hard to say, but a lot of it is, and it's hard to lose weight if you gain weight because you're depressed or you got medical stuff. A lot of times, even if you don't lose weight, you need to strengthen your spine. If you have spinal issues, nerve issues, you have to strengthen your muscles. It's the best thing for you, and in doing so, you will lose weight. That's just how it is. And so I've worked with a lot of people on this, and I need to do it for myself. And so if you want to know about their journey and you want me to share it, I will continue to do that on here. Hopefully shorter. I'm a little long-winded today. I'm long-winded all the time. What am I talking about? Anyway, that's my update. I'm doing great. I'm going to start my workouts tomorrow. And if you want to know about more updates as I go through that, any struggles, any more, then just let me know below, and I will continue doing these updates for you and sharing with you the obstacles that I am dealing with, the update on my MRI once I get it, hopefully, and we'll kind of go from there. So I hope y'all had a really awesome holidays and Merry Christmas. It's not about the presents, it's about being present. Yeah, so I hope it was awesome for y'all. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, all of that stuffs, and I will talk to you later.